there is also an extremely important
Are you okay?
yes.
Hold on. You'll be fine. Hold on. There we go. Okay.
It's okay.
We actually go back to. Hold on a minute. Sir, can somebody help me?
As humans, there are many questions we ask ourselves. What does it mean to be human? Why do we exist? What happens when we die? And are we alone? We are seeing many medical and technical advancements where mind and machine are merging. And if you've been paying attention, this ideology was injected into the zeitgeist many years ago through literature and the entertainment industry. It seems, though, at some point in history, people got bored with asking the hard-to-answer philosophical questions about life and started asking, how can we control life? Can we play God? If you were a paraplegic and learned you could walk again through bionic technology, would you do it? If you could erase the painful memories of the past, would you do it? And if you could clone yourself or live forever, would you do it? From the Twilight Zone all the way to Black Mirror, we have seen the scary reality and consequences of human cloning.
Dada, you have one pizza, Dada, please.
Stop pushing, boys.
Dada, for 8 days, you have one pizza, please.
Boys, let's back up, back all the way and get the score. Get a bit closer. Have a look at Anne. It's on his foot. Stay there. Get back, Dave. We'll give her space. Fans, she's not going to do anything to you.
Bye, Dada.
Well, it's a bit late for that.
I love ya.
Bad news for the Obama administration. We have this new CNN ORC poll, which is quite a turnaround in
Well, a very, very heavy debatation tonight. We had a very Darrison, but let's go to Terrace Chase and look for the bit, the head of the pit. We had a very Darrison, but let's go to Terrace Chase and look for the bit. The head of the pit.
But it's been a heck of a ride, to be honest. I really can't complain. Yeah, I was I was a little down. I found out I was injured and I had to have surgery again, or with another knee. But at the end of the day, I have amazing teammates. Guys like Draymond, everybody on this team, they come over there, they wrap their hands around me like, yo.
It was a wonderful, meaningful endorsement in every way, and I was very proud of it.
Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chai.
Very proud of Senator Warren. Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chai. In every way, and I was very
Did you
proud
talk
of
about
it.
Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chai.
In covertly recorded off-air transmissions from the Bush-Clinton presidential election campaign in the 1990s, we can see that Bill Clinton was nothing more than a puppet to the puppet masters which placed him in the White House. Bill Clinton's demeanor seems to be similar to a person who is under a hypnotic trance.
Remember that every single man, woman, and child in the state of South Carolina awakens to a freer, safer world because of George Bush. I would remind people that every single morning we all awaken to a safer, freer world because of George Bush. And Nicole, I would remind you and the people of Florence that all of us awaken every single day to a freer, safer world because of George Bush. They themselves awaken every single day to a freer, safer world because of George Bush.
But despite that awful cost,
Get him to the ground. Get him to the ground, please.
Our first caress.
And that was #1 in Australia and New Zealand. So, yeah.
Brilliant. From 1981, The Lost Scroll, it's out there. All right, Alex, we might come back to you if... Oh, we've kind of lost you there.
Im absoluten Luxussegment verbindet Rolls-Royce Tradition und Moderne. Jüngster Beweis ist der Brace. Auch der...
The President of Portugal fainted during a speech to the country's military. Aníbal Cavaco Silva was taken ill during ceremonies for Portugal's National Day.
Casey was about 15 minutes into his speech on terrorism when he started slurring his words, slumping over, as you can see there.
A country that doesn't innovate stagnates. It's that.
Did you know that the guy who created Black Mirror is not even working on season 6 because he feels the world is too crazy right now? That's insane. And around 2010, I started noticing that human cloning became paralleled with Hollywood through movies, music videos, lyrics, and celebrities themselves discussing it on Twitter, podcasts, and YouTube videos. If you were not into conspiracies back then, you probably missed the golden age of YouTube before everything was censored. Donald Marshall, a human clone whistleblower, wrote an infamous Facebook post in 2011 exposing the elite cloning program and underground cloning centers. He claimed his family sold out to the elite and he was cloned as a child. He also claimed that every night when he falls asleep, he wakes up at the cloning center through REM consciousness transfer. When I did a Google search for REM consciousness transfer, this image appeared, and it was a Dreamstime photo. Have you ever noticed that the Dreamstime logo is a universal pedophile symbol? You know who else wears the universal pedophile symbol? According to Donald, the cloning centers are controlled by the G20. The G20 is a group of international state leaders of the central banks, and the current chairman is King Salman of Saudi Arabia. Donald claims that when a celebrity sells out, they instantly earn A-list fame and money in exchange for getting killed and cloned to participate in degrading, dark art acts, fulfilling the desires of the wealthiest elites. Donald claims this is his picture on the Megadeth album cover, The World Needs a Hero. He said this photo was taken directly after his clone was tortured and murdered at the cloning center. He also claims that to escape the cloning center torture, he wrote songs for Queen Elizabeth and other musicians to keep himself protected. Donald said he wrote the following songs. He also claims that he wrote the entire album for Michael Jackson's Thriller and launched the careers of Lady Gaga, Whitney Houston, Rihanna, Eminem, and Madonna through his songwriting. He also said that he wrote the Radiohead song Creep about Queen Elizabeth. He gave Nirvana their band name and wrote all of their songs. A song that had instant success was Somebody That I Used to Know. At the beginning, you can hear a xylophone, and Donald says it is the melody to Ba Ba Black Sheep. Donald claims he wrote most of his songs using nursery rhyme melodies, which are stored deep in our subconscious, which triggers a common feeling and attachment to the song, which makes it a hit. And if you've ever wondered why some people become super famous, Donald claims that every child star was either born into the program or sold into cloning by their parents. And because of this, their parents are rewarded for years for their faithful service. If you want to read more about every song Donald has written and the song meanings, check out donaldmarshallrevolution.com. And if you've ever wondered why some celebrities are photographed with a black eye, according to Donald, it means they have been chipped. He claims that the chips are inserted through the eye and attached to the brain, which is what causes the eye to blacken or swell. And according to Donald, these soulless clones, walk-ins, robotoids, drones, chipheads, reptilians, whatever you want to call them, they are all part of the Vril society. He claims that whenever you see a celebrity giving the peace sign, they are actually holding up a V for Vril. And always remember, one time is by chance, the second time is coincidence, and the third time it's a pattern. So pay attention. The idea of reptilians, also known as lizard people, draconians, or shapeshifters, was highly popularized by David Icke, who claims that shape-shifting reptilians control the world from underground bases. They are from the Alpha Draconian star system and have the ability to shapeshift, which is superhuman ability of demonic manipulation through sorcery or DNA inheritance. One of the first depictions of the reptilian humanoid was the ancient deity Sobek, who had the head of a crocodile. But these reptilian myths and folklore go all the way back to the lost lands of Atlantis and Lemuria. The gray aliens were popularized by the alleged abduction of Betty and Barney Hill in 1961. These aliens are from Zeta Reticuli and allegedly harvest organs, clone, and manipulate our DNA, also stationed in deep underground military bases. In the book, The Dulce Wars, Chapter 5 discusses what he calls the Grand Deception, which is run by the Gray Reptilian Illuminati Alliance, where any opposition to the New World Order will create a conflict to reduce population of the planet, followed by a rapid series of shocking events, earthquakes, a worldwide stock market crash, all while putting millions of people worldwide in an extremely effective mind control program that could last 3 to 7 years, but will end in an American victory aided by a divine alien intervention. Whoa. This book was published in 1999. Other fascinating claims the author makes is that the apocalypse, or the prophecy of the Book of Revelations, officially started when Israel became a state by the Rothschilds in 1948. The Groom Lake facility, otherwise known as Area 51, is infested by reptilian and gray aliens and is home to all of the people that have gone missing from our national parks, where they have unwillingly become part of unethical cloning experiments. The book also claims that people who have had near-death experiences are actually experiencing brain implant damage. The author discusses trauma-based mind control, where the human subject is programmed to operate in other dimensional realms. This happens by being possessed, which induces alternate personalities, otherwise known as alters. This makes me think about Alex Jones when he talked about interdimensional child molesters. The author also provided a map of how all the underground bases connect through a high-tech railway system, from California all the way to Oklahoma. Another quote by the author that stuck out to me was, "The legendary dragon has 2 wings, right and left. The real war is between the Christian-based Constitutional Republic of America and the Luciferian cult-based Socialist Empire of Bavaria. But do not be fooled. The right and left-wing movements are Machiavellian, created by the black nobility." Phil Schneider, a government and gray alien whistleblower, claimed that he was hired to drill holes underground and was building an addition to the deep underground military base at Dulce. His job as a geologist was to inspect the rock for drilling. During this process, they drilled through an artificial cavern and into a secret base which was the home of the Greys, and they went to war. He claimed that 67 military personnel were killed, and he was one of 3 men to survive. He lost fingers and has a huge scar on his chest that was induced by an alien radiation weapon that resulted in cancer. During his lectures, he showed an image of an alien from Venus who goes by the name Valiant Thor, who visited the Pentagon to meet with President Eisenhower in hopes of delivering God's messages, to share technology, and warn about the consequences of nuclear war. Phil Schneider's death was ruled a suicide, but it was pretty shady. And before his death, he also corroborated the story of Al Bielek, another government whistleblower. Al Bielek, after being memory suppressed for decades, started remembering having been involved in the Montauk Project, and later came out and said he realized he was born Edward Cameron, and that his memory had been wiped and was forced to live out his life as Al Bielek. Years later, he presented his story at MUFON, stating that the Philadelphia experiment was real, and that it was Nikola Tesla who had discovered how to make a wormhole, which sucked the ship Al and his brother were on, and sent them into the year 2137. He also said that his brother Duncan was born because the military convinced his father to have another child, to live life as a walk-in, to be possessed by a reptilian being. Duncan was highly psychic, could manifest things to happen, and had telekinesis. The series Stranger Things is based on Duncan's real-life horror story. The concept that we are not alone is supported by overwhelming evidence. Photographs, videos, radar contacts, personal witness testimony, abduction reports, crop circles, animal mutilation, channeled messages, human scars, and implants. All I can say is, if you are not questioning anything by now, you may not be human. I also want to point out that the artwork at the Vatican looks extremely demonic. The Vatican audience hall looks like the head of a snake, including the inside. Not to mention, all of the popes have questionable symbols on their robes, and the Vatican telescope is called Lucifer. There have been strange UFO connections and stories written about the Vatican as well. There have been rumors for decades surrounding the royal family and their reptilian ties. It has been proven that their ancestors were Count and Countess Dracula, who were famous cannibals. Princess Diana told Christine Fitzgerald, her personal confidant, they are not human. And remember when Kate wore the Rosemary's Baby dress when showing off their new baby on the balcony? What's really strange is that Meghan and Harry left Buckingham Palace and moved to Canada, just a 3-hour drive from the Canadian cloning facility. And now there are strange videos calling out Meghan's bizarre behavior, saying that she is a robot clone. Look at the images yourself. This is strange. This does not look like a human. And we all know what happened to Princess Di. Truth is stranger than fiction. And remember when Billy Corgan told Howard Stern about seeing a reptilian shapeshifter?
Howard Stern show. What happened? Give me a for instance. I want to know. I'm turning you out of so embarrassed. No, don't be embarrassed. Come on, share. Why not? We have to discuss these things.
Let's just say I was with somebody once and I saw a transformation that I can't explain.
The person transformed into something other than human.
Yes, I saw it.
Were you on drugs?
I was not. I was totally sober.
Wow. Not in a hallucination. They said to you, "Look, something's going to happen here. I'm going to morph into something else." And you're like, "This is ridiculous."
That's not how it happened.
Give me a please. I want to see this.
Imagine you're doing something and suddenly you turn around and there's somebody else standing there.
A different human.
Sorta. It's hard to explain without going into detail. I'd rather not go into details.
Okay, but did you say to the person, "What'd you just do here?"
Yes, and they acknowledged it.
And what did they say they were? From another planet?
They wouldn't explain.
Why not?
Again, without telling the story, it's a really messed up story. It's up there with one of the most intense things I've ever been through.
In the 1871 book Vril, The Coming Race by Edward Lytton, he describes a superior subterranean master race in the energy form called Vril, where they take a special elixir as an energy source. In the novel, these reptilian entities worship the black sun. The black sun symbol was an ancient religious symbol in which the Nazis inherited, along with the logo of the neo-Nazi flag, the SS. Where have we seen this before? These symbols have been around for thousands of years and are occult in nature, but they are just regurgitated through history because of the power and significance behind them. You could say the same thing about the swastika, yin and yang, the compass, the all-seeing eye. These are ancient symbols that represent the same thing. Even when you see the Freemason symbol, it is the square and compass, which represents the architect's tools. And what is the G? It is the 7th letter of the alphabet. 7 represents completeness and perfection. 7 is the number of God. Part of what it means to be human is to learn to recognize these patterns and symbols. These symbols and patterns are hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to decode them for yourself. And one of the ways God gets you to recognize these symbols is through corruption. Without corruption and deceit, you would not wake up to anything. Corruption must exist for you to wake up and see what God wants you to see. the Vril Society was formed by a group of female psychic mediums led by the Thule Society leader, Maria Orsic. This inner circle of women claim they received communication from Aryan aliens living on Alpha Centauri. Allegedly, these aliens visited Earth and settled in Samaria. The word Vril comes from the ancient Sumerian word God-like. The Vril Society emblem became the Black Sun, described as an infinite beam of light, invisible to the human eye, but exists only in antimatter. It is interesting to note that the black feathered sun looks like a lunar eclipse and a human eyeball. Maria Orsic was Hitler's medium, and with her help, the Nazis channeled information from this Aryan race and developed an interdimensional time travel machine, which had its first launch in 1939. I also discovered that the metaphysical tactics of the German Vril Society was the precursor to Project Stargate, which was a CIA operation using a secret U.S. Army unit to study men who could remote view onto deserts, mountains, and other geographical locations. The film, The Men Who Stare at Goats, is based on the declassified documents. What is really interesting about Maria Orsic's flying machine is that it correlates directly to Nikola Tesla's flying machine, which was also anti-gravity. When Tesla died in 1943, the FBI ordered the Office of Alien Property Custodian to seize Tesla's papers, even though he was an American citizen. The papers and items of Tesla's were then passed on to MIT professor John G. Trump, who happens to be Donald Trump's paternal uncle. What I find to be very strange is Julian Assange looks like he could be the son of John Trump, which would make him Donald Trump's cousin. John G. Trump said some of Tesla's plans and blueprints were alarming, but he knew it was his job to figure out how they worked. So the question is, what did he find out? Although the findings were never publicly released, many people speculate that Trump discovered how to use Nikola's anti-gravity time machine. What makes this theory even more bizarre is that a late 19th century author by the name of Ingersoll Lockwood, who happens to look exactly like Louis C.K., emerged out of the woodwork, and many articles were written about his books after Donald Trump was elected president in 2016. In the 1893 book titled Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, the story takes place with Baron Trump, an extremely wealthy young man who sets off on an adventure to Russia to track down an alternate dimension. As the master of all masters, a guy named Don guides him along the way, only to find himself back home at Castle Trump. The book's prequel, written in 1898, was titled Travels and the Adventures of Little Baron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bulgar. Ingersoll Lockwood went on to write his dystopian novel called The Last President. The story starts in New York City, and the country is in a state of uproar after an election of a heavily opposed president. Mobs of anarchists and socialists fill the streets to plunder and demolish the homes of the rich who have wronged and oppressed them. In the book, the Fifth Avenue Hotel will be the first to feel the fury. Very strange that Trump Hotel is also on Fifth Avenue in New York. And what's really crazy is in the book, the president chooses a cabinet member whose name is Pence. And why is Mike Pence talking about human cloning? Is this the Mandela effect? Did these books really exist before? Did someone go back in time and create these books to mess with everybody? Or was the book written knowing that this stuff would happen in the future? It's just all too much. Donald Marshall spoke about Britney Spears quite a bit. In her music video, Break the Ice, it shows an animated version of herself breaking into a cloning center and destroying all the cloning tubes. On December 30th, 2004, Britney Spears made a surprise appearance at the radio station of LA's Kiss FM, where she independently released the demo of her new song, Mona Lisa. This song was supposed to be the single off her fifth album, Original Doll, but the album was never released. The original lyrics of Mona Lisa say, "She's the original, she's unforgettable, she wants you to know, she's been cloned." Why was the Original Doll album and this song never released? And now when you go to Google, the lyrics say, "She's been gone." B.O.B. the rapper backed up Donald Marshall's story. Before YouTube was censored, B.O.B. used to post videos about his cloning center experiences. B.O.B. and Donald both claimed, if you cannot remember your dreams, you are probably a clone. Here are some of B.O.B.'s tweets I saved from years ago. Tila Tequila claimed that she sold her soul to the cloning program for her reality show on MTV, A Shot of Love with Tila Tequila. Tila made the rounds on Conspiracy Podcast, discussing her experiences at the cloning center.
That's just fucking with my program, darling, Queen Elizabeth, and the pedophilia ring, and the cloning centers. That's right, darling, the cloning centers.
And talked about her relationship with Marshall. She used to go on rants on Twitter, for which she got banned. After she came out about this, she had a brain aneurysm in 2012. Donald Marshall and Tila Tequila both said Bernie Mac was trying to come forward about cloning, and that's why he died.
Hello, Phil Chuba here, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about what happened recently to me at cloning. And a little background is REM phase cloning is they take your consciousness while you sleep and put it in a clone in the cloning center. And as soon as you hit the REM phase of sleep, and you have to stay there until you wake up. They tell people a lot of different BS. It's the fifth dimension, seventh dimension, Nirvana, Shangri-La, a time stutter, singularity. They say that it's another dimension, or that it's lucid dreaming, or the astral plane. It's not. You're just in a cloning center, and they're using MK Ultra visual and audio effects to make you see what they want. Now, they've been doing this to me probably my whole life, but now you see me talking to Donald Marshall, and I go to the same cloning center he does now.
After 2012, other cloning blogs and Twitter accounts started popping up disclosing their experiences at the cloning center, backing up Donald's story, and expressing the fear that comes with exposing the cloning situation. Here are more tweets from celebrities about human cloning. And remember this weird video of Beyonce?
Beyonce died in the year 2000 and she was replaced by a clone. You remember that video with her at a basketball game and she was like, and she was going all crazy?
I remember that video, but like...
That ain't no human stuff, bro. That ain't no human... You seen George Bush lately?
What?
When Obama, I think it was like last year, and Michelle Obama had to control this fool because he was just going, he's just doing that.
So you saying clones is out here malfunctioning? Beyonce died in 2000?
Yeah.
How did she die?
Hey, man, they ain't gonna tell you if she's dead, and she's a clone, fool.
And remember when the country of Nigeria thought their president was a clone? And now we have the CRISPR guide to cloning mammals. And even Mary Tyler Moore was into cloning. And what about Paul McCartney? We all know the urban legend of Paul is dead and that he allegedly died in a car accident on November 9th, 1966. Did you know there is a man named John Holliday who lives at the real childhood home of Paul McCartney in Liverpool and looks exactly like the original Paul? Could this just be a strange coincidence? Did the real Paul really die? And if so, who is this guy? Some say this is William Campbell, who won a Paul McCartney look-alike contest. If you're a Beatles fan, you probably have always wondered why the band broke up after only 5 years. It is because of this man, Theodore Adorno. He was the director at Tavistock and wrote all of the Beatles' music. He died in 1969, the same year the band broke up. And if you have ever wondered how Michael Jackson was able to purchase the entire Beatles catalog, it is because Adorno's estate sold it to him. Here is Paul symbolically placed in a coffin-like box. Things are never what they seem. Speaking of Michael Jackson, I highly recommend listening to Freeman Fly's podcast episode with Dr. David Lewis Anderson discussing Michael Jackson and time travel. Did you know Michael Jackson was the first celebrity client for the company Clonaid? What is Clonaid? Clonaid is a Canadian company registered in the Bahamas that prides themselves on being the world's leading reproductive cloning facility. The premise of Clonaid was announced in 1997, and the company's intentions were to make advancements for human mortality and to allow homosexuals to produce a child. In 1997, it was announced that the first American couple was going to invest in Clonaid by paying $500,000 to have a baby. The couple's names have never been revealed, but there is speculation that it was Barack and Michelle Obama. And after Clonaid's announcement in 1997, Malia Ann Obama was born in 1998. And why have we never seen pregnant photos of Michelle? And this is random, but does anyone remember the 2013 Kardashian Christmas card where Bruce Jenner is trapped in a cloning tube? And now he looks exactly like Cindy Crawford.
I'm sorry, is there someone talking to you?
Yes, sorry.
Sorry about that. So I just was wondering how everyone's doing. Hello, Courtney, have we lost you?
All right, it looks like Courtney doesn't really want to go there with that
she's
question.
breaking, so I just was wondering how everyone's doing. Hello, Courtney.
When I first discovered the Clonaid website years ago, I remembered seeing Michael Jackson's name on the website and that he used their services. Of course, it has been removed from the Clonaid website, but I found the proof that it did exist at one time. The YouTube channel Pac Lives still has the evidence. This is Kid Boo. Listen to what he has to say about Clonaid.
My first gen was born in Jersey. However, I was cloned by Clonaid in Canada. My model number is 0112568 if anyone wants to see the registration at Clonaid.
Here is the CEO and founder of Clonaid.
Is Bridget Boisselier, who is scientific director for a private company called Clonaid. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Sure. Tell us first what Clonaid is and what the company is working on right now.
Okay, so Clonaid is a private company. We founded that 4 years ago. got the funding to really have that last August. And so now we have 3 scientists working almost full-time in a lab here in the United States with the major goal for us to produce a human embryo by human cloning.
She is also a member of Vrilism, which is a UFO religion. Here you can see the logo, and within it is the swastika and the 6-pointed star. Where have we seen those before? More patterns. Vrilism teaches that an extraterrestrial species, known as the Elohim, created humanity with advanced technology. These Elohim created 40 human hybrids that have served as prophets to disclose the human origin. They claim these prophets are Buddha, Jesus of Nazareth, and Muhammad. They also believe that when Jesus returns, it will be his clone. Raelians call their approach scientific creationism, otherwise known as intelligent design, with efforts to push human cloning. In 2005, George W. Bush said that he believes intelligent design should be taught in all schools. In the book Family of Secrets, The Bush Dynasty, Russ Baker confirms the existence of more than one version of Bush Jr. It has been said that there are 14 versions of him, all birthed by surrogate mothers, that would be able to replace Bush if he were ever to go insane or die. Even David Letterman joked about it and pointed out how his nose always looks different. Pretty strange.
My understanding is that a lot of presidents have already been replaced.
That's right.
Yeah,
I don't think
they're walking around. They look old, but they basically some of the people are just
I'll
second,
give you
third
something
copies.
I'll give you something to ponder. Get some old videos of George Bush, when he first came into office. Look at the person and listen to him speak. Look at his actions and listen to his everything that's there. Now, it's a lot easier to put somebody out in front to act as a, even Bush did. He had somebody else that was up there acting like he is and look like it. Even Hitler had he had his stand-in. In fact, his stand-in was the one that they found in the ground over in Germany.
Speaking of presidents, Freeman Fly proposed the interesting theory that Obama was the clone of Akhenaten and Michelle Obama was the clone of his wife, Nefertiti. In the book, The 7 Clones of Barack Obama, occultist author Benza Magos discusses Obama as the spawn of an Anunnaki breeding experiment in order to bring back Akhenaten.
And you have to realize that there's more than one Obama.
Okay.
They're clones.
All right. Well, it would take a lot.
No, and you have to, no, and you think I'm kidding you. I'm serious.
Okay.
You when you see the clone can sing and dance. Yeah. The real Obama, he can't sing, or he can't dance. And whenever you see his wife with the clone, she is like on a bad date. She's very standoff. Her inner kids.
She doesn't like
But the real Obama, they're always hugging him and close to him, kissing him, brushing the dandruffs off, because he has dandruffs. He really does. That's why I did that commercial for whatever that shampoo was. No, but seriously. No, but it's true. No. But you think I'm kidding. Watch them, okay? Even the little dog, the real Obama, the little dog's all up in their face. But the clone, the little dog is barking at the clone all the time.
While promoting Jumanji, Jack Black was asked about doing a sequel. He said, "There is no choice. You have to do the sequel. Otherwise, they will kill you and clone you." You could argue he was joking, but why was this video removed from the internet? And shortly after this interview, Kevin Hart, who was promoting the same movie, admitted to being a clone.
How do you do it? I look on Twitter, there you are. Facebook, there you are. Television, there you are. How do you do it?
I have a clone.
I was going to say that. There's 2 of you.
Cat's out the bag. Okay? It's about a good 3 of me. We broke it. They didn't want to release it yet. This is major news that I'm giving you. I'm cloned.
Okay. I appreciate it.
So I'm able to do all that I do.
And then there was Holly Madison, former Playboy playmate who once was the main girlfriend of Hugh Hefner and the star of the reality show, The Girls Next Door. There used to be a video online of her talking about being a clone, and of course it was scrubbed. Holly once said, "I don't get jealous of other girls because I was raised in a cloning lab to be the perfect woman for Hugh Hefner. So other than the fact that my IQ is probably a little higher than he would like, I have nothing to worry about." Remember the media-frenzied paternal debate between Howard K. Stern and Larry Burkhead, over who was Danny Lynn's real father? Frederick Prinz von Anhalt, who was the biological son of Adolf Hitler, came forward to claim that he was the real father.
The paternity battle quickly morphs into a bizarre spectacle when Zsa Zsa Gabor's husband, Prince Frederick von Anhalt, holds a press conference to declare he may be Danny Lynn's biological father.
Well, I can tell you they are not a father. When you go out very often till 4 o'clock in the morning and you need people, you do something, things you don't even know the next day what you did.
How much weirder can this get? I'm telling you, they keep these bloodlines hidden. The film Boys from Brazil is about a cloning expert who implants numerous surrogates with Hitler's sperm in hopes that they will turn out just like the original Hitler.
Well, our scientists have learned how to make people. They call them synthetics. Are you familiar with those? What is a synthetic? A synthetics, when you touch their skin, it feels like plastic almost. That's the latest technique. The old techniques, if you guys can rent a video, The Boys from Brazil, rent it, because in it, it gives you the exact way how our government's been making people.
Really?
The movie Boys from Brazil was written by Ira Levin. He was an American novelist whose book centered around exposing Satanism, the occult, human cloning, and ritual murder. He also wrote Rosemary's Baby and The Stepford Wives. Spoiler alerts ahead. The 1975 film, The Stepford Wives, is centered around a Manhattan family who decides to move to the suburbs in hopes of a safer life for their children. The father joins a secret society where all the male members have killed and cloned their wives in order to program them to their liking. The main character, Joanna, meets Bobby, and they become fast friends. They gossip about how bizarre all the women in town act, and they form a women's liberation group to try to wake them all up. The plan backfires, and Joanna discovers that Bobby has been killed and cloned. When Joanna realizes she is next, she tries to escape with her kids. The movie ends with Joanna shopping at the grocery store, smiling and acting robotic. And as she passes her old friend Bobby, they politely greet each other, engage in a short, superficial exchange, and go about their day. And it is at that point we know Joanna was killed and cloned. They always say writers write what they know. What did Ira Levin really know? Jeffrey Peterson is an American tech pioneer who created the Latin social media site KPasa. He is a Democrat and is very well connected through politics and Hollywood. In August of 2018, he started tweeting a number of threads about human cloning. They have all been removed, but I found and saved an archive of his old tweets. This is not a joke. I said I will never lie to you, and I will not. I clearly overheard it, and I could see that others who were there were also uneasy. I know what I heard. They are doing real-life experiments with cloning on remote islands. This is truth. What I heard that evening at the event where I had been invited was not improper for me to hear. Very clearly, loud and clear, that top personalities associated with the U.S. Democrat Party are very involved in experimentation with cloning of biological beings. His second thread, which appeared a year later in 2019, discussed a conversation he overheard between Nancy Pelosi and John Sperling about a remote cloning project. Jeff Bezos was not there, but they were talking about him. And Nancy Pelosi kept saying, "He's doing mine. He's doing mine."
I preface it by saying, as you probably saw, there are military on the steps of Lincoln Memorial. What is it?
And remember this crazy video of Hillary Clinton?
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts?
You guys have got to try the cold chocolate.
Talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren.
You guys have got to try the cold chocolate.
Talk about vice presidential possibilities. Talk about vice presidential possibilities.
In 2015, Hillary Clinton was on Another Round podcast, and she was asked what the weirdest thing about her was. She replied by saying, "I don't sweat." And then she said this.
You guys are the first to realize that I'm really not even a human being. I was constructed in a garage in Palo Alto a very long time ago. People think that, you know, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they created
They don't even know.
Oh, no. I mean, a man whose name shall remain nameless created me in his garage.
Are there more of you?
Now, I thought he threw away the plans. At least that's what he told me when he programmed me, that there would be no more. I've seen more people that kind of don't sweat and other things that make me think maybe they are part of the new race that he has created, the robot race.
So there's a cyborg
but I don't, you got to cut that. You can't tell anybody this. I don't want anybody to know this. I mean, this has been a secret until here we are in Davenport, Iowa, and I'm just spilling my, electronic guts to you.
What a strange thing to say. And who was this mystery man? Some believe that man is Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons was an American rocket engineer, chemist, occultist, and a member of Aleister Crowley's OTO. The OTO is a secret society where you are able to rise to the top through a series of ritual dramas and sex magic rituals. Believe it or not, this group still exists today. In the book Satan's Children by Rebecca Scott, she claims that Jay-Z and Beyonce are high-ranking members of the OTO and have performed a series of sex magic rituals. I will not go into the sordid details of what they have done with other men, but I will say that the name of their daughter, Blue, was a nod to the Blue Bloods, the black nobility families. In 1946, Parsons conducted a sex magic ritual called Babylon Working, a series of rituals to invoke the goddess Babylon to earth. Babylon is otherwise known as the Scarlet Woman. The symbol of the Scarlet Woman is the red dress. In Jack Parsons' personal memoir, he wrote that with assistance from Aleister Crowley and NASA, they conducted the 11-day experiment at the start of 1947. It was written that their goal was to birth a female child who would end up being on the world stage as a dominant feminist to transform humanity and usher in the New World Order. If you fast forward 9 months later in 1947, you have the birth of Hillary Rodham Clinton on October 26, 1947. She is the only woman alive today who has been in the public eye as a leader and a former presidential candidate. And remember, they never thought she would lose. It has been rumored that she will appear again to run in 2020 to claim the throne for which she believes is all hers. The HBO series Westworld takes place in 2058, depicting a simulated amusement park operated by the company Delos. Westworld is populated by human clones that are controlled by a powerful artificial intelligence. The members of this elite club can fulfill any desire they wish, including violence, murder, and rape of the clones. Kinda sounds like Donald Marshall's cloning center. Is this art imitating life? Westworld also brings to mind Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, where he was creating a breeding farm. Did you know that Joe Biden owns a parcel of land on Water Island, right next to Epstein Island?
Even Hitler had he had his stand. In fact, his stand-in was the one that they found in the ground over in Germany. I mean, Hitler and Eva and the dog and 14 other people got aboard a plane and flew down to Barcelona, Spain. You were aware of that. And then ended up in Antarctica or in Swabenland and then died a few years ago in Brazil.
Did you know that the Rothschilds own an island in Antarctica? Why did George Green say that Hitler went to Antarctica? Kinda makes sense now that we know Hitler was a Rothschild. And remember when Vice asked, how far off are we from digital clones of Black Mirror?
I was like, that's amazing. It's what is, I've been trying to explain to people that, and it's because it's really different. It's not de-aging, right? So it's not my face and they just made it look younger. It's a 100% digital character. It's the first ever 100% digital human. So I didn't see any of that. It was 8 months before I saw the scenes, and when I saw me and my new digital clone, it was spectacular. It was actually a little freaky.
All I need to do is take 2 cells off of your body, yours.
Uh-huh.
We give them a small electrical charge. I'm just Now I'll act like a fertilized egg. If I got a fertilized egg, all I need is a receiver in order to make it. So they were hypnotizing women, said they were being invaded by aliens. And the fetus starts growing, right? Needs food, where they can use cows and sheep too. Again, a food source, that's all we need. After about 14 weeks, all of a sudden that fetus is gone. Because they've learned to that's when the fetus starts developing its own blood supply. Then they've used a pituitary hormone extract that they have, which accelerates the being that grows. And the original technology was given to our government by the Greys.
What did I just watch? And then I found this bizarre website called twinstrangers.net. You can find your doppelganger instantly. You can even set up a meet and greet with your twin. Then there are the celebrity lookalike photos. What is this? Can somebody please explain? The internet is even saying that Derek Chauvin, the cop who killed George Floyd, has a clone. We've all heard the terms the Great Awakening and the event, and we all believe we are living in the end times, but we don't know what any of this really means. There is a Twitter account who goes by the name Kabommer, who claims that the Galactic Federation missed certain opportunities in 2016 to trigger the event, and that is why QAnon went into full effect in 2017. He claims that a parallel Earth has been created, and we will all shift into the new timeline on April 2nd, 2021, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Pretty specific. All of those who shift will essentially travel backwards in time to this date. Immediately upon shifting to the new Earth, the entire population will be ready to meet their galactic families, will have a new body, and gain amazing abilities. He also says there will be people who will be left behind. Kabommer claims to get his messages from the Pleiadians. According to the book Dulce Wars, there is a federation of space worlds based in the Andromeda and Pleiade constellations, including aliens from Sirius B, who have severed ties with the Ashtar Collective, which was infiltrated by the Orion-based reptilians and Greys. The Pleiadians warn that the rebel angels are now controlling the infiltrated segment of the Ashtar Command and are masquerading as ascended masters. So if this is true, how do these so-called channelers even know who they are talking to? This was written in 1999. Fast forward to 2018, and Kabommer is claiming that President Trump has traveled on Pleiadian crafts and has even left Earth. He also claims that Q is the Pleiadian soul of Ortique, who once incarnated on Earth as Abraham Lincoln and JFK. Remember all those strange coincidences between Lincoln and JFK? Kabommer claims that Ivanka Trump is the twin soul of Ortique, the reincarnation of Lincoln and JFK. JFK's memorial is also shaped like a Q, and Kabommer claims that if the event doesn't happen as predicted in 2021, Ivanka will go on to become president. The event is described many times in the Bible. Matthew 24:40-41 reads, "Then 2 men will be in the field. One will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding at one mill. One will be taken and the other left." Luke 17:24 reads, "I tell you, on that night 2 people will be in one bed. One will be taken and the other left." Corinthians 15:51-53 reads, "Listen, I tell you a mystery. We will all not sleep, but we will all be changed, in a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed." Thessalonians 4:16 reads, "After that, we who are still alive and are left will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so we will be with the Lord forever." Even The Simpsons predicted the event. If you have ever wondered why our parents lie to us about Santa, you must understand that this is the most profound lesson we will ever learn. The deception of Santa teaches you that you can't trust anyone or anything. The human experience is riddled with disappointment, lies, and deceit. We need the lies to see the truths. We need the deceit to see the good. And we need the patterns to trust our instincts. But how do we know what is real and what is truth? Is Q real? Are the Pleiadians real? How are we supposed to know? Are the reptilians and gray aliens cloning us underground? Are the celebrities trying to let us know? Is Donald Trump working with the Pleiadians, and is Donald Marshall's story really legit? Or is this all just another psyop that started long, long ago to program us into accepting the idea of space and aliens, to bring in a new world order? Is all the madness in the world right now preparing us for something much bigger, like the anticipated event? Overall, it seems like it would be a pretty big psyop employed by many people over many years, and I just ask myself, how can it all work so seamlessly, yet remain so confusing? It seems to me that the military-industrial complex is extremely compartmentalized and so divided, it is totally impossible to know what is real. Do we trust our whistleblowers, or are they paid shills pushing disinformation at us? How do we even know what books are real, or movies, or stories, anything we consume? In 2020, we all know that the news is fake, and we know that they do not want us to know the truth. So this pushing of the New World Order just makes sense every time I turn on the news. It's just filled with lies and deceit. And my conclusion is still the same. No one knows, but we can connect the dots, trust our gut, and have our own opinions. And maybe instead of searching for answers externally and looking to other people for the truth, maybe the true answer is just to stop. Stop looking, stop searching, and stop worrying, and just live. I will leave you with that to do your own critical thinking. Until then, stay safe out there and don't stop questioning the world around you.